Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first of our support calls for the Meant for More 30-Day Challenge. I'm so happy to have all of you here. And for those of you that I can't see yet, I want to just give you a minute in case you were wanting to join us by video so we can all get to know each other on this journey. And thank you all who are here. It's so nice to see you, Nicola and Dee Dee and Jeanette. Hi. Joan and Lewis. Hi, Lewis from Toronto. I think it's such an awesome opportunity, especially when we are talking about the Meant for More journey, which is about turning your knowledge into profits, to use a safe space like this to come on video, try something new, because let's face it, if you can't do it here where it's safe and we're growing and we're learning, how are you going to do it out there with those people who need your help? So over the course of the next 30 days, one of my invitations is to just keep upgrading your experience here. Maybe today you come on video, maybe next time you get your lighting set up a little bit. I can teach you things if you're interested about how to frame yourself, because this is all part of the Meant for More journey. And this is what it looks like in today's world, is being in a little square on Zoom and getting out there to make a difference with the people you want to make a difference for. Hi, Marcos. Thanks for getting on. So good to see you, Joan. Been a long time. So today, this journey, this 30-day Meant for More challenge, it's designed to go along with my new baby, who I'm sure many of you have seen or maybe even own already, called Meant for More. It's so cute. I see it on the Kindle. I haven't seen it. There they are. Yay! Extra points for waving your flag. And as you see, the tagline, the reason I'm showing you, aside from that I'm so proud, is the proven formula to turn your knowledge into profits. There it is. I love it. Good, Dee Dee. She's listening. And, I couldn't call it a proven formula if it wasn't for many of you that are actually here with me today that proved it. That for some period over the last decade that I've been helping entrepreneurs all over the world using the methodology that's in the Meant for More book, it was really them who proved the formula. I mean, I went first and made it happen for myself. And then over 15,000 entrepreneurs over the last 10 years followed me along and said, yeah, I followed your steps, Lisa. And now I'm making money doing what I love too. So hi, Carolyn. Hi, Nicole. Good to have you guys here. So I wanted to do these calls each week through the next 30 days to support you, whether you are new on the journey, so you realize that you have some gift you want to bring to the world. It's kind of been bubbling up, but you haven't had a formal structure to sort of name it, pull it out, own it, claim it, and set yourself up to be able to make it an offer. Or there's some of you where you're already in touch with that gift, you're already helping people, and you may just want to be using the Meant for More challenge right now to really relook, right? It's clearly we are in a time of possible reinvention. It may or may not be, but it's smart to look to say, what's calling me forward now? And there's a lot of us, including myself, that are using the gift of the space, the gift of the time to relook and say, when the doors open again, how can I use this time now? And even before that, how can I use this time now and set myself for when the doors open again to really make sure that I step into something that I've consciously created, that I've designed. It's just so easy in the drift of the world to find yourself in a position where you're spending so many hours of your life in exchange for money, which, we need to make the world go round, but maybe not something that also feels good or, is fulfilling, or that you'll look back on at the end of your life and say, my life was well spent. And so I think there's a beautiful opportunity during Meant for More to look to see if there's something calling you, to follow some guideposts, and also to do some letting go. If there's just some, a lot of people are cleaning their closet and cleaning their house. And I think that there's a lot of cleaning going on internally right now too. So why not, it's ironic that this book was supposed to come out a year ago and it ended up coming out now. I don't know if all of you know, but I postponed it. And exactly 1 year later, that the date that I postponed it to, here it came out in the middle of the time where I genuinely feel it can make the biggest difference. So, so today we're going to start in on, this is a 4-week journey, a 30-day journey that starts with, and when I was ordering the steps in the Meant for More book, I went back and forth, is it discover your unique value and then make peace with sales? Or is it the mindset piece first, make peace with sales, and then let's discover our unique value? And I chose to go with this one first, because if you are not willing to open your mind to expand thinking, and I know some of you already have a beautiful relationship with sales, so I don't mean to speak as if everybody has a closed or bad relationship. It's that if you're willing to open your mind in a new way, from wherever you're starting, I believe the second step of discovering your unique value gets presented to you more in a more flowing way. Like the universe goes, okay, if I show Dee Dee this, she's going to do something with it. If I show this to Heather, it won't get lost in her hard drive, right? So, it can actually help the world. So I have an intention with starting here. And the thing I want you guys to know is that, over the last 10 years, and as I've shared in my introduction in the book and such, it's been beyond my own dream. We've done over $40 million of sales. Like, that's crazy, right? Over the last 10 years, right here from this space. Like, I've been teaching like this for over a decade. This is not, my work doesn't look very different, And so I have turned my knowledge into profits. I've done this path, and even reinventing my platform a bit, sharing about Meant for More so I could help more people do that. From the focus I've had for the last 10 years, which is related. It's been about making your offer irresistible, boosting sales, but you've kind of got to have the Meant for More piece first. You've got to know what it is that your gift is before you can dive into the bigger picture of our campus, which is helping you sell without being salesy. But so I want to say that I'm a mom who had a newborn and a 3-year-old and a husband in medical school, and was fired literally the night before Christmas Eve from my dream job. And it was right smack in the middle of the recession, about 12 years ago. So, this life that I have built following this formula, it actually started at a pretty difficult time, and I feel qualified. I feel somewhat qualified in being able to share and help, just a way that I can give from navigating the last decade as a single mom. And Michael now is a heart surgeon, so that worked. And, we're co-parenting, all those things worked. And I just want that for those of you that want that for yourself. And so as we share in the first chapter and throughout the book, one of the difference, so I assert that every single one of you is sitting on a gold mine with what you already know. Okay. Now you get more gold if I could see your face, because then I can like crown you. So I'm going to challenge those of you who I can't see, the Pat and Teresa and Mary, and to, if you can, come on, and for the future calls, it's just more fun. But like what I assert, whether I can see your face or not, is that you, the person that is staring into the camera, looking back to me, you are sitting on a gold mine with what you already know. And I say this to all the people who aren't here as well. We are all sitting on a gold mine with what we already know. And the difference between the people that you see mining the gold, out there helping people, making money doing it, living what might look like, a dream life. There's one difference, really. If I had to boil it down, does anybody know what that difference is? The difference, if we're all sitting on a gold mine, and you can either unmute and tell me, or you can write it in the chat. I'll say this is the chat. So the chat is probably lighting up on your screen. You can click on that. Yeah, I see some people saying action. Action is part of it, but there's something that happens right before the action that is the difference between who's mining the gold and who is not. Let's see. And Elizabeth, you messaged me privately, so you can if you put everybody in your little field, then you'll get everybody. But she said, believing we have something to offer. That's a piece of it, but it's not the thing. Oh, Lorelei got it. Nicole got it. So yeah, decision. The difference between, and try this on, right? I don't expect you to believe anything I say, just try it and see if it fits. But like everything I look at in my life, and sometimes it happened in a split second. So wasn't like I went through a long decision-making process. It could have been like this instant where like, oh my God, there was a decision that happened. And then all these things you guys are sharing, taking action, owning it, believing it, but it starts every single time with a decision. And you guys are making the decision right now by being here and being in the challenge and committing the time to say, you know what, I'm going to mine the gold. So congratulations. I'm glad you're here. And it's a decision you make once, and then you get into action, but you may have to continuously re-enroll yourself, which is why we're starting with Making Peace with Sales. Because again, if you've read the book, one of the first chapters is, who's the first person we have to sell? Anybody know? We can use the chat here. Yeah, okay, those of you that I can see. And if I can't see you, yeah, yourself, exactly. So, yeah, so there's that. So congrats on making the decision. And so the decision, is the first thing. It's like anything, you commit, you make a decision to okay, I'm ready to turn my knowledge into profits. And then there's all this how, and that's where a lot of us fall out, right? So there's the decision, and then the first thing that piles on is like, but how? Hi, Miriam. What are the steps? How do I do that? Hi, Donna. Good to see you. So that's really a big part of the challenge, is what I like to call, there's two parts. For years, I had a mastermind that was, the strongest entrepreneurial mastermind, I think, in the industry. And we had a saying there that came from one of my trainers named Lisa Cherney. And she used to call it the ground war and the air war. So the air war is making peace with sales. That's the mindset, right? The ground war is the strategy and tactics. Well, what steps do I take, Lisa? What do I need to do? And so we're going to cover both. We're starting, and this came from the advertising industry, she said, where the air war was like anything you couldn't touch, like radio ads and TV ads. And the ground war was things like bench ads and billboards, right? But in our campus here, the air war is the mindset, making peace with sales. And the ground war is strategy and tactics. Yeah, it's Brittany here. Brittany is my assistant. And if anybody needs help, she's at support at theinvisibleclose.com. You can always write in. And by the way, if you are having any Zoom technical difficulties, you can use the chat and you can scroll down and find Brittany. And let's see. Yeah. And then you can message her privately and she can help you with anything that you just need a little background support on. So let's dive in to week one. If you go into the Facebook group now or later, you'll find that there is a post from Monday that called This Week's Assignment. And there's a link. And what you'll see in there, just to make sure we all are looking at the same thing, is you will see this workbook. So each week we'll be placing the workbook. This is the Make Peace with Sales workbook, and it has assignments and exercises. So when you scroll through, you'll see a message from me each week. The theme, wake up, my friend, we're all selling something. And then this week, there's 3 different exercises that you can go to really take an inventory about where you stand with sales. So I want to hear from some of you that may have already dug in about what you're seeing if you have had a chance to work through some of these exercises. And the first question that we're not going to go through everything, but I want to hear, when you hear the word sales, when I hear the word sales, the first thoughts that pop into my head are, and again, there's going to be the whole spectrum, wonderful, horrible, maybe you've had a bad experience, but let's take a little thermometer just to see where we're at now. All you need to do is go down to where it says participants. If you are on a desktop, if you're on an iPad or an iPhone, I haven't used those, but I think, I'm not exactly sure the way, but maybe someone who's on one and knows how can put it in the chat. And oh, here's some words in the chat. So Teresa, if you could unmute. And also I see some in the chat. Pushy, Miriam says, slimy car salesman in a polyester suit. That's pretty common. My grandmother, oh, I can't wait. At least I hope you'll come on and tell us about that real quick. Nicole, opportunity. Marcos, pushy, another one of those. Dee Dee, there might be something. All right, Teresa, what comes to your mind when you hear the word sales?
The 4 things that came to my mind were pressure, quota, unsolicited, and agenda.
Got it. Yeah, so that could make it like pretty not not attractive to want to do sales, right? Because you would not want to be the person doling out any of those things, right?
Right.
Okay, thanks, Teresa. Let's see, we've got scam from Carolyn, getting buy-in. But God forbid you connect that to money, LOL. I like that one, Joan. Long hours, hard work, and Elizabeth, easy if done well. Okay, anyone, I wanted to hear about your, either Rihanna's flashback to her 20s or Elisa's grandmother. I want to get a visual on this. Will either one of you unmute and just tell me the Reader's Digest version?
I'm happy to do that. Hi, it's
okay.
Elisa.
Hi.
Yeah, so my grandmother, she died when she was 90, but she spent over 30 years selling life insurance, and there were pictures of her with men, and it went on to my mother selling and being the first car salesman in Florida.
Wow, you've got a long history. So do you feel like you have, would you say a relationship to sales that is attractive, makes you want to follow in their footsteps, or that puts you off?
Right. Well, I've been working for myself since I was 23 and I'm 60.
Yeah.
So, so I definitely have been selling, but I didn't want to be a salesperson. So it's like I rejected it, but I still was, doing that, working for myself and needing to sell something.
Right. I mean,
we telling myself that's what I'm doing.
We start our own thing and then, oh shit, I have to sell. Forgot about that part. Pardon my French, but that is kind of what people say. Exactly. Okay, cool. Well, thank you for sharing that. Nice to meet you. And you're looking fabulous and healthy, which I love seeing for everybody here. So good. Yay. I'm coming up right behind you. Just had my 52nd birthday. Gaining on you fast. I wonder if I'll catch you. Okay, Rihanna, anything you want to say about your flashback to your 20s?
I used to work in advertising sales.
Okay.
And when it was selling to people, something that I felt would actually work for them, I really enjoyed it. I remember when I worked in the education market, I was talking to a whole bunch of schools, and I realized that schools were doing something called the International Baccalaureate, that the newspapers in the UK hadn't kind of picked up on yet. So I went and spoke to our editor, and they didn't like talking to ad people. They like to keep us separate. And I said to him, hey, would you be up for doing a feature on the International Baccalaureate? And he started to say, I'm not going to do a feature on who you want. And I said, no, I just, a feature on this thing would be so great. And it made talking to all the schools that offered it just really fun, because it meant that they felt listened to. And I loved that. So bits of sales I have great memories of. But I've also worked for other companies when I was younger, where it was much more just kind of get the numbers.
Yeah.
If you don't believe in what you're selling, it's really hard and kind of soul destroying.
Totally. So true. You got me taking a note here. So you could really feel the difference in those scenarios of selling something you're inspired about and that felt good versus really just trying to make the numbers.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
There's such a huge difference in helping someone to buy something that will actually help them get where they're trying to go versus just trying to sell something because that's what you have to do.
I love it. Thank you for that. That's really a beautiful kind of framework for this part. And so thank you. Thanks for coming on. Is it Rhiannon?
Rhiannon. Yeah.
Rhiannon. Okay. Thank you. So yeah, I think we all know that, right? That it would feel good. We wouldn't mind selling something that felt good, especially if we could do it without being salesy. But then, we're asking you to take some inventory of, but how do you really feel about it? And, there is a large percentage of us that are, we don't have positive framework from experiences we've had of being sold to, our family trying to sell. And that's really what starting to see the story you have circulating in your head that you may or may not have been aware of. And then we have the chance really to create a new definition of sales. And what I wanted to give you today is some distinctions that you can take with you so that when you start to dig in, as we do in the next week, to uncover your unique value, what I call your $1 million value, there'll be more ease and flow. Hi, Mary. With doing that, because that resistance of God, once I find it, then what do I do with it? Because if I have to sell it, I don't really want to find it. And that could be blocking you from a long time from finding your purpose or living your passion or, any of those ways that you might express that piece. So let's see. So there's a couple distinctions that I want to bring up.
Could I?
Yes,
Could
Mary?
I just,
Yes.
as I was listening to everyone,
Yes.
I thought maybe I should say something. I could sell other people's stuff, but I find it very difficult to sell it for me. I can promote stuff and really, really make big of it, but I shy away from it. And anything to do with me getting the money, it's just a problem. I don't know why. I admire
that. If I can see you, or if I can't see you, you can always use the participant raise hand there. Raise your hand if you can relate that. When you love somebody else's stuff, you're all over it. But selling for yourself, is I see Elizabeth and Teresa. Exactly. Well, I'm no different. And that is actually what started my unique value. The whole company that has, helped clients in 134 countries, Mary, was I sold, hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars for Pfizer, for Hewlett Packard, things to make money, right? Didn't always feel that good, but it was a job and I liked it and it was fun. But there was something inside me that knew I wanted to combine my worlds of being able to make a difference and make money doing it, instead of something to make money and then make a difference on nights and weekends. And the first time I tried my hand at it, Mary, I just was kind of like randomly asked by someone who saw my unique value. I didn't know, and we'll get into this next week, I didn't know that, supporting people in an on-the-spot yes, what we call, the invisible close, was my unique value. I didn't know that selling without being salesy was my unique value, but someone that noticed it in me asked me to speak to her small group of entrepreneurial women. So I sort of put together what I knew, what I figured out. Now I've got a formula in the book for you to be able to put together your knowledge, but I didn't have that formula to follow. And I taught her group for about an hour. And when it came time at the end to offer some coaching, someone said, you can't get up there and teach and not give people a way to, work with you more. What if they like it? And I hadn't even thought about, speaking and then making an offer. So at the last minute, I thought, okay, $297 or something like, for a 90-minute call, and I'll help people with their offer. I knew I could do it. I'd been doing it free, people picking my brain, friends coming to me my whole life. And when I spoke, Mary, my hands were shaking like this, like visibly. I was wearing a silk blouse and I had sweat rings like all the way down. Like there's the kind you can hide if you keep your arms down, and then there's the ones you can't hide. It was those second kind. And, it just, I realized the same thing you're saying. I could sell for others, but trying to sell something that I cared about, that was personal, was a whole different game. So I started to look into it, Mary, and we talk about this a little bit in the Meant for More book. And I talk about it on a lot of different videos I have out. So I want to tell you some of the reasons that I've seen of why that is. It's part of making peace with sales. Okay. So one of the reasons, guys, is that kind of part of today's teaching. So thanks for the tee up, Mary. Thanks for sharing. That was perfect. So one of the reasons that that it's harder to sell our own knowledge, our own service, our own expertise, number one is because we care about it, right? We care. So when it's something versus a printer I was selling for Hewlett Packard versus like my own advice about how to make your offer irresistible, when you care about it, all of a sudden we've got more attachment. The second thing is we believe in it. We really believe it could help people. I believe that if, you guys do our nail your offer work, it's going to change your life. If you know your offer and you nail it down the way that we teach, it's going to change your life. So not only do I care about it, but I believe in it. I believe, and a lot of, in the area of your knowledge or your expertise, you might want it for them more than they even want it for themselves at first. Can anybody relate to that? You want them to eat healthier or exercise more or have a better qualified romantic or business partner or, invest better or get into real estate or out of real estate or like whatever your gift is. So you might want it for them worse. And so that makes us attached to it. And then this is the big one. When it's your own knowledge, your own expertise, the yes or the no feels personal, right? I mean, if they say yes or no, when I'm sitting in the office for Pfizer and I used to have a great antibiotic, Zithromax, that I represented. And some of you may not know, I was on the Viagra launch team. So I was like sitting in the lobby with a bag full of Viagra and Zithromax. I didn't sit in the lobby long with those two drugs. But like if they said yes or no to writing, we write Cialis or we write some other antibiotic, like, okay, on to the next doctor. But when it's my thing, when I'm watching you and I know you could be making offers and making money and digging yourself out of this hole or creating abundance or paying off your debt, like when I'm watching you, and you say no, it feels personal, right? Like the yes or the no feels personal. And so what I wanted to offer you today for being here is a couple of expert distinctions to help you make peace with sales so you can use them right now and throughout the whole challenge. Okay. So here's the first one. You guys ready? This is the writer downer. And thank you for teeing that off for me, Mary. By the way, Anita, your lighting looks fabulous. I love your set. This is what we want to strive for, is to have a set like Anita. Say hi, Anita, so they can see you. One of my clients who I've done some VIP work with, and take my invitation every week. Just have your set be a little bit one step up. And then you'll be ready by the time you discover your unique value and get out there with your offer. Joan as well. Yes, good job. So, and Mary. And I love Betty's, that's fun. So the first distinction is called committed but not attached. Okay, now this is one of the ways you make peace with sales. And it's really around this thing that Mary brought up, is that when it's our own thing, it feels personal. The yes or no feels personal. So how do you work with that? So what you're committed to, okay, this might be a surprise. Anybody have an idea? Maybe we'll see who our advanced book readers and my students are. Who has an idea, and I'll look in the chat here, of what you're committed to? What are you committed to when you're being committed but not attached? Does anyone remember? All right, let's see. Anybody want to take their hand at it? Committed to getting a yes or a no and serving the person. Anita, this is exactly what you would think, right? Your beliefs, your service, these are all like totally valid guesses. But this is why I'm here, to share something with you that you may not be thinking, right? We're not committed to them getting a yes or a no. We're not committed to a yes or a no. And we're not committed to our beliefs or even working with them or our intention. These are all great. Let me offer you something that you're not seeing. What if what you're committed to is that they make a decision? You're just with that other human being, committed that in this area where they are engaging with you because they need some help with their mindset or their health or their money or their business or their relationship, you plug in what you have a sense that your area is. So what if what you're committed to is that this person gets to a decision about my offer, about working with me? But remember, we're not committed that it's a yes or a no, just a decision, yes or no. Can you see the difference? Sandra, see the difference? So we're committed that they make a decision, that we support them, that we hit the markers, that we give them what they need to be able to make a decision. Okay, that's where we can take some responsibility. We could learn, which is what you're starting in on here. What are the markers I would need to hit in making my offer for them to be able to make a decision right now? That's where you want to start getting curious. So you're committed to them making a decision. And what we're not attached to is what decision they make, yes or no. Okay, so this is one of the frameworks for making peace with sales. It's called committed but not attached. So imagine like if I were making an offer to Brian. Hi, Brian. And, Brian said like, look, I've got this expertise and I really want to help more people. And I'm making an offer to Brian. Well, this is a genuine offer I actually am going to make to you. So I'm making an offer to Brian of, beyond the Meant for More challenge, Brian, once you see that you get some sense of your unique value and you're willing to claim it, you'll want to move as fast as you can into our Nail Your Offer program. Okay. So, and a lot of you already have done our Nail Your Offer program or are in it. And some of you are new to my campus, just found me through Meant for More book. And this will be an opportunity for you anytime during the 30-day challenge would be to invest in our Nail Your Offer program. Brian, it's normally $497. And while you're in the challenge, it's $300 off. So you would get to start Nail Your Offer for $197. Okay, so let's say I'm making that offer to Brian, and this is a genuine offer that I'll share with you before we finish up on how to do that if you don't have Nail Your Offer. I would be committed that Brian would get to the point, whether he was in my audience or we were speaking one-on-one, that I gave him everything he needed to be able to make a decision. That's called structure. So that's another point on the making peace with sales. Point number 2. Okay, so we have committed but not attached. I'm writing them so I can remember my order. The second one is structure gives you freedom. So what if you make peace with sales knowing that once I find my unique value, I don't have to become a salesperson. Any of these frameworks, like somebody said the guy in the polyester suit or somebody pushy, or I don't need to become those personas. I just need the structure to be able to make my offer. So then I have the freedom to make my offer. I'll hit the structure. What it does is as proven structures allow you to hit the markers for whatever outcome you want. So any structure out there, you want a structure to learn Spanish. If you get a proven structure that is teaching people Spanish, you follow the structure and you'll hit the markers to be speaking Spanish. So in this case, we're talking about making your offer, figuring out what it is and making it. So what if you don't have to learn sales? You don't ever have to take a sales class. What if it's just about structuring your offer so that when I make the offer to Brian, it gives Brian everything he would need. Now remember, not to say yes, because that's not what I'm committed to. It's everything he would need to what?
Can I
Yes,
jump in there?
to make a decision. I'm just having fun with you here, Brian.
No, I know, that's fine. That's fine. Where it goes wrong for a lot of people is, as you say, they don't follow the structure.
Yes.
And they learn the structure and they get some results for it.
Yes.
And it starts to work and they get the results. Then what happens is they start taking shortcuts within the structure and it all starts to fall apart and they can't understand why. And what it is they deviated trying to put their own spin on it, but missed out certain parts of the structure. And that's where they miss out. And all of a sudden,
don't we all do this, right? We're like, oh, it worked so well, I stopped doing it. Right? We get on our exercise program, or we're eating a way that makes us feel good, and it works so well, we stop doing it. Right? We take shortcuts, and then we can't figure out why we don't feel good.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
So you're right. I believe with structure, and a lot of my, Brian, I think when I look back on my own path to, entrepreneurial success, it's that when I invest in a structure or pick a mentor for a certain outcome I want, I do it as rote. Prove the formula.
Yes.
Right? Like when it says the proven formula to turn your knowledge into profit, you want your story in here. You want to prove the formula. You want to be like, I proved the meant for more formula. I'm sitting here helping people, being, paid more than I ever thought possible and making a difference. That's proving the formula. So yeah, you're right.
You've it out, you've lived it, so you've experienced it. So the next step is to actually show other people how to do it. Yes. Yeah,
that's definitely, there are learning models that, I agree with that say, if you want to learn it for yourself, teach other people for sure. So, but where we're at in our Meant for More journey on the MACE. So thank you let's hear it for Brian. This is a way to clap on our campus. Woo! The Zoom clap. What do you guys like better? I heard, this is how I was taught, but then someone else said it's more fun if they can see the fingers. Yeah. Right? So anyway, thank you, Brian. That's a great contribution. Oh, and then we've got the virtual claps. I love those too. Rhiannon and Michael, thank you. So distinction number one to help you make peace with sales is committed but not attached. We're committed to them making a decision, but not attached to the decision. So I can go to the wall with Brian about why he should start in on Nail Your Offer, the goals he told me and how it would work. And I just really committed and following a structure. I could share with him, it's only available in this time frame, and these are the special bonuses that you get when you get it now. So we have structure in our kind of like next level of training called Nail Your Offer, of how to make the offer so that you can get the person what they need to make a decision. So that's that. And then us just kind of remembering that structure can give you freedom in anything that you want results in. So we don't have to become salespeople. We just have to get a structure that we like, that's a fit, that feels like a fit for us, for the way that we want to sell. Right? So like our campus, some of you are very new to our campus. So just to kind of show you, let me see if I have this open. what I mean by get a structure. We're not going here now, but it's a little early in the game. But just as so you have an idea of what I've been up to for the last decade and what awaits you if you stay on the path. Like each one of these gears here, if you're on an iPad or a phone, you might need to swipe to see my screen. But each one of these gears is a structure for selling. So I'll go down here to the bottom. Nail your offer is the first place people invest in our campus. It's a structure to be able to, as it says here, clarify, package, price, and deliver your offer. Once people figure that out, then they decide which of these structures do I want to use to lead to my offer. Do I want to sell one-on-one? Do I want to speak from stages or webinars and make my offer? Do I want to have an online business and make my offer that way? Or do I want to have events, workshops, and retreats, nowadays virtually, but also we teach live, to make my offer? So there's only 4 structures really that you need to be ready to make your offer in any situation. So this is what our campus has been teaching for the last decade. And each one of these structures has a program that we sell that our students take. So this is really like, what do we sell? This is what we sell. Everybody starts with nail your offer, and then they build what's called the Love Your Life sales machine. Some people do webinars that lead to one-on-one calls, and then they make their offer. So that's their machine right there. Other people attract people online and go to a webinar, and then they make their offer. So that's their machine. Other people speak and fill live events, and then they make an offer from a live event. So that's their machine. So your Love Your Life sales machine, you know, we won't be getting to this right away because we've got a lot of other things to do in the Meant for More journey first. But this is the big picture of really that when I say structure gives you freedom, here's the good news. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. If you had dreams of speaking and selling, the structure is there. If you have dreams of taking your business online, there's a structure. If you have dreams of speaking to people one-on-one, live or in person, and making an offer to serve them, there's a structure for that. Anything anyone wants to share or ask at this point before I keep going? Yeah, Joan? Just unmute, there you go.
Yeah, I'm one who can sort of identify how easy it is. I had been doing the same talk at a school pretty well voluntarily for many years because I'm a giver. I have things that I want to sort of shift in the world. And when I had learned with you this concept and the structure, I had put it in. It took me 5 minutes to add the invisible pieces and that idea of the structure into what was an existing presentation. And it made all the difference in the world. And all of a sudden it was like I got to add something even in a voluntary kind of there to change the world sort of place.
Yeah.
And people were clamoring to actually work more with me, which I'd never had before. People loved the idea. People got a lot from it, but now that was the whole shift for sure.
Well, thank you. And it's so good to see you here. And we do have some calls going on, Joan, for some of our students who have participated in the programs associated with those gears that if you haven't found out about them yet, maybe write to support because I'm doing support calls for our students. It's called Come Home for our students over the last decade.
Already there.
Yeah. Okay, good. Yay. So what Joan said, I really appreciate because what she's sharing is, here she was just speaking to give. And I know a lot of you, that's your Meant for More journey. You want to give more. And she just put some structure in that she just wouldn't have thought of. Kind of like the committed but not attached. We thought we were committed to a yes or a no, but now we realize we're not. We're committed to a decision. That's how you don't be salesy. You're just committed to a decision. That's how you serve at the highest level, is that person makes a decision. So the third teaching point then, we've talked about committed but not attached. We've talked about structure gives you freedom. And Joan gave me the perfect tee off into the third one, which is that it's a disservice not to make your offer. And I want to dig into that a little bit as we look at making peace with sales, because it's a disservice squared. It's a disservice in more ways than one. Hi, Teresa. Nice frame there. So it's a disservice in more ways than one. We all know, like when I got up to speak and train that group of women before I had any idea that I was the queen of sales conversion, we'll be getting to that in week 3, naming you guys. But before I had any idea, and before I stepped up to speak and the gal said, you got to offer them something. What if they want to work with you? I hadn't even thought of it. And like Joan was giving at this nonprofit thinking, or was it a nonprofit? I don't even know, but giving a contributory talk and hadn't even thought about I could get clients this way, or I could help them more if I made an offer. And it's really, really common to be out there, especially right now. A lot of people are defaulting to give, but I won't charge because it's hard times. If you're doing that, it's a disservice. And I know that sounds counterintuitive, but people that need help right now got a lot of different things to pay attention to. And if you know that the help you give is gonna be the thing that helps them in the area that they need it most, you need them paying attention to that. And if they pay, they will pay attention. Online sales are through the roof. People teaching things and helping people that are already in the business and already set up are having record years, including us. I don't need to look for business right now. It's here. And because our tools are the tools for anyone that wants to get out and make money making a difference. So like everything we've been doing for the last 10 years is more important now. And here's the thing, it's the same for your unique value, which we'll get into in our next week. Your unique value is more important now than it was 2 months ago. So I want you guys to plug in here in the chat. If you have an inkling already about the way you help people, what's the category? Is it in health? Is it in their money? Is it in their business? Is it in their relationship? Put your category, just type it into the chat. I don't need the specifics. So like I've got business here, right? It's people need business guidance right now more than ever before. Digital marketing, Tony. I mean, whatever people were doing before, if they're in business and they're not using digital marketing when we're all just digital, it's more important than ever. Training to be a health coach. Yeah. Education, self-esteem. I mean, look at this. And the proof is in the chat. Everything, content strategy, women's leadership, nutrition, letting go, cutting away stuff, like clarity. People need there's not one thing you guys can type there. Crafting, I mean, that's not more important now to your people than it even was a few months ago. So that's why we want to turn up the heat. And that's why I'm here doing this challenge free, so that you double down on getting out there with your offer as fast as you can. The doors are going to open and you don't want to wish you had. Right? We want to be helping people now and setting ourselves up for the future. So it's a disservice not to make an offer. One of the disservices is, when they don't pay as much attention. And mostly when you let people, and we talk about this a lot in Meant for More, there's a lot of amazing stories. When you let people just pick your brain, right? You give it all because that's who you are. And most of the time they do nothing with it. If you take that same stuff that they want to pick your brain about and you package it into an irresistible offer, yeah, some of them are going to say no. I only wanted it for free. Great. Sorry. Or here's a little tidbit you can get started with. Here's a tip. You're my friend. Here's a tip. That's fine. But the ones who really want to do something with that thing they want to pick your brain about, they'll be happy to have that exchange, to be able to compensate you and to be able to just dive in, to squeeze the orange, to ask you a ton of questions, to get your coaching, for you to send them resources. Like You ever have someone giving to you and you're just like, God, is it okay to receive this? Because I'm not paying them and they're spending so much time with me. And don't you just feel better when you're like, great, this person's coaching me on this area. You know, I just finished a fitness challenge. I did fine with the challenge. It's the reverse diet, it's called, getting out of the challenge and back into life where I needed a coach, right? And I had people offering to just help me, but no, I want to be able to text all day long and say, hey, what about this? And what about that? And I want to feel good. And so when they pay attention. And that's part of making peace with sales, is realizing, and the best way to realize it is for yourself. When you have paid for something and really done the work, versus maybe the stack of books on your nightstand that you bought but haven't quite got to yet. I don't know about you, but I've got that stack. And then the other way that it's a disservice not to make your offer, to do the work, to nail your offer and make your offer, is that, I can see we've got some experience on this call. We've got some folks who've, earned the gray hairs the same way I have. And, I bet in your areas of your knowledge, you've got 5, 10, 20, maybe 30 years or more. So why does the new kid enter your industry and get all the business? Is that like burn your butt or what? Why is because we're out there educating, you're out there educating the world, being a good guy. That's great. Keep doing it. But kind of like Joan before, she wasn't making an offer along with it. When she started to keep giving, but make an offer every time, then people who loved what she said and wanted more had a way to plug in. So you could be the 30-year veteran in mortgage loans, and the kid whose license is dry, 2 months ago is getting all the business because he's making the offer. He's following a structure for the on-the-spot decision. And you're out there speaking and doing blogs and on the internet and doing ads and meeting with people and helping family. And like, they love you. Tell me if this sounds familiar. They love you, but they don't buy from you. I'm not going to make you raise your hand, right? But you're my client. You're ready for nail your offer. If they love you but they don't buy from you, because what you're missing is the structure and the irresistible offer. So raise your hand if that makes sense. Yeah. Okay. So those are our distinctions for today. I'd love to hear from a few people of your biggest takeaway from being here. And then for those of you that want to fast track it, I will share an invitation that if you want to jump right in and start nailing your offer beyond this challenge, I'll share the invitation I was talking to Brian about in a minute. But a couple of you on your biggest takeaway. Elizabeth, did you want to share your biggest takeaway? Just unmute. Or maybe you were just raising your hand. Let me see. Elizabeth, do you want to share? All right, just unmute anytime if you do, Elizabeth. I can't quite tell. I think maybe you're just raising your hand to my question. Okay, so we've got some folks in the chat here. So true. Yeah.
I'll talk.
Oh, great. Hi, Nicole. Thank you.
Hi. I mean, for me, I have been in sales on and off, but pretty much on since I was like 19, so almost a little over 20 years.
Yeah.
At some capacity. But even with that, in the last few years, I've had kind of stopped the sales machine and was kind of coasting on referrals and not actively selling.
Yeah.
So some of the truths that you shared are helping me to kind of step back into that positive mindset around sales, and also the committed but not attached is just such a critical message to me. So thank you for sharing that.
It's good to see you here. Yeah, I'm happy to hear that. And I know that even as an expert who's even teaching sales or doing sales, that these small reminders, I call them little hinges that swing big doors, right? Because you try it, you guys, this week, like with whatever you're up to, when you are committed but not attached, when you're committed but not attached, you can go to the wall with someone to really give them what they need to make a decision. Because why is it a service to be committed that they make a decision is because indecision is what kills possibility. So if someone's thinking about hiring you for something or getting your help with something and you leave them in a maybe, it's like leaving them in the worst possible place. That is such a disservice. But if you can go with them all the way to this is a no or this is a yes, great. If it's a no, you're out of there. They're out of there. They can look for new help with the area they need help. You move on. And if it's a yes, better. The next time you talk, you're dancing. You're helping them. You're engaged. But, it's like the dance floor. The guy comes up to ask the lady to dance. If she says yes, you're dancing. If he says no, he goes away. If she says maybe, what is he supposed to do? It's the land of indecision. Does he stay around? Does he ask again? Should he go away? It's the worst. And that's all those open loop clients or potential clients or people you want to help that are in maybe land. When you're committed and you help them get all the way to a no or a yes, that is the highest level of service. You're serving them even if they don't do your work. Who does this make sense to? Raise your hand. Give me a thumbs up. Yeah? Yeah. So there's a lot for us to uncover here, more than you thought, I bet. Huh? Okay. So I want to, was there one more person that wanted to share a big takeaway or something like that from today? Anybody else want to share your biggest takeaway? Mary, yes. A quick one, because I've just got a few minutes here to end your class on time.
I was off camera when I heard you talk to the girl, everybody there, about this is the time, and there is no other time like this because you're away from everyone. You've only got yourself and to dig in and find who you are. But I wanted to know, do you remember your first time when you got paid and how much you prepared for that? Because this is where we are. And we'd like for you to go back and remember how it was for you that first time.
Yeah, I'm telling you, when I stood in front of that audience, like I said, sweating, sweat on my face, hands sticky. People were saying, yeah, we want to buy that hour with you. And I forgot, I didn't even have a way to take money. They're like, they had to either have a check with them. I didn't have a way to take a credit card. I mean, the whole thing was, a cluster, but I found out that I had something. I found out that I had something that people wanted. And so now I can roll out the map. And that's what this free 30-day challenge is about, is step by step, a whole week on making peace with sales. And then a whole week on really what is my unique value. And then a whole week on owning that, claiming it. We call it assume the throne. That'll be week 3. And then a whole bunch of things I've discovered about how to stay in action. So I have a lot of compassion for what you're saying, and you're going to go at your own speed. I've got folks that, want to take their time. I've got others that are like my racehorses, and what I'm saying makes so much sense. They can't move fast enough. And wherever you are on that spectrum, we've got you. Okay? So thank you, Mary. Yeah, I appreciate that. I do. I wanted to share a quick story. And then, sorry, Brittany, I'm just seeing your message to make you co-host. She's my assistant and I was supposed to do that. Okay, there you go. Kind of late in the game, but so I want to share 2 things. First of all, just stay in the challenge, show up here every week, get these calls on your schedule, and do the weekly assignments. And that is you having made the decision to mind the goal. That's the path. If you haven't bought Meant for More yet, the stories in here and the examples of other people like you are going to move your path so much faster. So Brittany will put the address here in the chat. If you go to my website, lisasasevich.com, and you click on the Meant for More tab, or you use the link that Brittany will put here in the chat in a moment, you can go get the book, and it'll show you where you can enter your order number and get the audiobook free, plus some additional support from us. Okay, a great course called Discover Your Unique Value, which is really going to help you next week because that's the topic for next week. So if you haven't picked up at least one of these, maybe one for a friend, I would do that. For my resources, the next step, so in our campus, first it's the Meant for More journey of discovering your unique value. And we're going to move with this energy of making peace with sales into that in our week 2. We're going to stay in this week, and then we're going to move into that in week 2. Once you know your unique value, we're going to claim it, assume the throne in week 3, and then get into action. From there, you're going to, if you want to make money with that thing, maybe you just want to help people, you don't need to go any further. But if you want to make money with it, you're going to want to package, price, and figure out the delivery of how you offer it. We call it nail your offer. So we have a special invitation for those of you in the challenge, and you can see it at, let me see, it's lisasasevich.com/nail your offer. And Brittany will go ahead and put that into the chat. And it's normally a $497 program, as I was saying earlier to Brian. You get $300 off while you're in the challenge. So if you're already like, I know my unique value, I've claimed it, I really want to move into Nail Your Offer, you can do that now or at any time. You use the coupon code Nail My Offer, as you'll see in the chat, to get the $300 off. That's like the secret code I'm giving you today for being here. So you'll go to this page, you'll get the Nail Your Offer system. It'll tell you all about it. It's a digital program that you can do online. And it'll help you to price your offer, figure out how to speak about your offer, and help you organize your knowledge around what you discover in Meant for More. So at any time in your Meant for More journey, when you're like, Lisa, I know my unique value and I want to start moving it into an offer, you can jump to here. And again, it says here it's $497, but if you go here, like I am, enter a promo code and you put Nail My Offer, watch what happens. $197. So it takes the $300 off. Okay. So I just want you guys to know that if you're the racehorse and you've made the decision and you already have a sense of your unique value, you might already own this course from having worked with me before. Go back to it. And if you don't own it yet, the sooner you grab it, the sooner you're going to be using your offer, like making it. This is the key to being able to put a price and package that unique value that you discover here in the challenge. All right, any questions on that? All right, I'm a minute over, so I want to respect that. So I'm going to end. If you had to go right on the hour, no problem. I just, actually, I'll tell my story at the opening I'll leave you hanging. I have a story, the Miss Julie story. And if you've read it in the book, you already probably have a little smile. But if not, I'm going to open our next session next week with the Miss Julie story. It's a fabulous example of making peace with sales. And I want to hear your success stories next week of just what happened with that shift of really understanding that it's a disservice not to make your offer, and that we're not necessarily going for a yes, we're just going for a decision. Just in life, as you're trying to enroll people in things, as you're walking through your world, I'll look forward to hearing what happened for you. And we'll have prompts to be able to share this in our Facebook group as well. All right, everybody, thank you for being here, and appreciate your sharing. Yes, and I'll look forward to seeing you in Facebook. And Mary, if you have a question, we'll see you over in Facebook and we can answer it there. Okay? Actually, I'll stay on. I just want to make sure I don't keep people late. Yeah, go ahead, Mary. Did you have a question? The call is officially over. Thank you, everybody. This is Q&A time if you want to stick around for a few minutes. Yeah.
When you said that, don't worry about the yes or no, just to make a decision. And the light switched on for me.
Yeah.
If they are to answer yes or no, that's the time when we are expecting to be paid. It's like we can go that far to help them make the decision, but they are not allowed to tell us unless they want to pay us. So I don't know. It's really weird.
They're connected. The decision is connected.
Because for me, it's difficult to get their money. I just keep giving and giving, but you can get drained because everybody wants it and there's no reward. So you feel like drying up. There's no input to nurture you, to keep going. But I just felt like, oh, for me, okay, if they're going to say, all right, I'll decide this way or that, I thought, okay, don't tell me unless you want me to work with you and it'll be this much. I don't know if it's the same for everybody else, but for me, that was like the light switched on. Like I have my own issues.
Yeah.
And I thought, where does it flip over for me to get into that accepting for me the reward? And when you said that, I had to share this with you.
I
Thank you.
love it. And it's a beautiful example, Mary, of how fast our work works. You'll see stories in the Meant for More book like that, where the light bulbs went off and the changes people made. And you're right. If people never are asked to make a decision, then how would you ever get to payment? Right? I mean, if you're always just giving and flooding them with giving, how would there ever become a natural time where there was a transaction? There wouldn't.
And they won't feel
you're right.
And they won't be feeling pushed. Because then the ball is in their court, whether they want my service or not. So there's none of that antagonistic feeling for them.
Yeah.
I just had to make peace in my heart with that issue.
I love it.
Thanks,
That's exactly what I was hoping for. Thank you for ending the call with that.
You.
It's so, it's fulfilling for me to hear. And I hope you guys can see that connection. You know, we call it, I'll give you a couple words to close with here, invite pursuit. So when you have the structure, you know, you have an offer that's irresistible, then you invite pursuit, versus when you're just giving all the time and hoping they come your way, it puts you in the exact mode you don't want to be in. It puts you in pursuit. You're always kind of wondering when they're going to pay, when the deal is coming, You're in pursuit. You're exactly where you don't want to be. So stick around. That's the brilliance of our work. And you have brilliance of your work that's that magnificent as well. And that's what we're here to mine in the Meant for More journey. So thank you all. Thank you, Mary. Beautiful, beautiful sharing. All right. See you all soon.